Did you know that at least 1 in 2 healthcare providers experience burnout in North America, according to the Center for Disease Control Mental Health Crisis Recent Report? And 3 out of 10 founders have mental health conditions. Shocking, right? This data partly supports the fact that without using the right well-being strategies and tools, if you're a clinician, healthcare provider, surgeon, or medtech founder, burnout is inevitable due to the high-pressure work settings and the challenging demands in the current healthcare system. However, there's a little-known reason burnout is rife in the medical world. And no, not excessive paperwork or the mounting pressure to see more patients, or even the crushing fatigue from working almost all day on your feet. I know that might sound a little crazy, but scientific analysis shows that 7 in 10 cases of healthcare burnout are because healthcare professionals have dangerously low levels of mental fitness. Now, this is important. Healthcare professionals have exceptional stress tolerance. How many people do you know who could work a 12-hour shift and work extra unpaid overtime? Not many, right? But chances are you shrug it off with ease now. Except here's the problem. All healthcare professionals have their breaking point. And if you're finding yourself feeling emotionally detached from your patients and loved ones, feel like an imposter, unable to handle work pressure as you used to, and now rely on alcohol, coffee, energy drinks, or substances or comfort eating as a coping mechanism after a challenging day, and making basic medical errors that even a first-year medical student would avoid, it's a strong sign you need to build your mental fitness reserves. In fact, amazing new research shows building mental fitness will help any overworked healthcare professional stay sharp and focused, even during the most demanding work shifts. And the good news, building mental fitness doesn't have to involve mindfulness or spending hours exercising. Think of it like this. Marathon champions don't simply appear on race day and hope to win. What do? They prepare by training quietly and daily, building their lungs, strengthening their endurance, and sharpening their mental toughness. By the time the race begins, their body and mind are primed to win. Mental fitness works the same way. It's about conditioning your brain and body to handle stress, stay sharp under pressure, and bounce back quickly after challenges. Look, I know you would love to reduce the long work hours with endless EMR documentations, change the complex health system IT infrastructure, and get those admin staff out of the hospital because of the burdens they place on you. But the truth is, if you want to switch off after a long, challenging day, sleep deeper every night, have a fulfilling medical career, and get through each day without feeling crushed by overwhelm, you need to focus on what you can control. And I promise what you're about to discover could change your life forever. So if you are suffering from symptoms of poor mental fitness, like working in constant fear, exhaustion, feeling unfulfilled, brain fog, or emotional detachment, taking action right now is essential, because evidence shows that if you try to power through burnout, it's likely to result in more medical errors that could lead to a career-ending lawsuit. Let me explain. As a busy healthcare professional, you are typically making at least 35,000 decisions per day, juggling multiple patients with complex medical histories, while navigating insurance protocols, EMR systems, and hospital bureaucracies, all under the constant threat of life or death consequences. And without mental fitness, your brain could shut down non-essential functions like empathy, creativity, and accurate decision making to preserve just enough mental energy for basic survival. But the result, you become a medical robot, technically functional, but emotionally dead inside. And while this might help you survive a shift, it's exactly when medical errors could creep in. You need human connection, intuition, and the ability to see patterns that only come from a clear, fully functioning body and mind, and not just your technical skills. However, deep breathing and mindfulness alone won't help healthcare professionals build the essential mental fitness they need at work. I'm not saying these are bad exercises, but for healthcare professionals whose minds are already reeling with overwhelm and stress, using these exercises is like using a band-aid to fix a broken leg. Instead, you need scientifically proven strategies that penetrate deep into your inner self, to free yourself from your silent or inner suffering, to refill your depleted emotional reserves, and break free from the mental prison of negative thoughts and constant fear. Which is why I've gathered almost 20 healthcare industry leaders from 3 continents who are at the forefront of mental, emotional, and physical well-being. And I asked them to share their scientifically proven mental fitness techniques that restore the mental clarity of burned out new and experienced medical professionals and founders, build holistic mental fitness so tough work experiences don't shake you. Allow doctors to work 60+ hours per week and still have energy to be present with their families. Train and strengthen your mind to stay sharp and focused, which reduces medical errors during critical procedures. Explain why the most successful surgeons actually experience less stress during life or death operations, and more. Most of these speakers have worked for over a decade in healthcare facilities, clinical research settings, or with high performers, including women's sport athletes. They have lived experiences and know firsthand what works and the importance of having a medical industry filled with mentally fit healthcare providers. And as a result, I sat down with them behind closed doors and asked them to share their most cutting-edge, proven recommendations on building mental fitness. And I convinced them to help me get these breakthrough techniques out to the healthcare professionals who desperately need them. Amazingly, while these professors and wellness experts typically charge thousands of dollars for their programs and for private consultations with Fortune 500 executives and elite athletes, I managed to convince them to share their closely guarded techniques completely free. Want to hear them? I will tell you how in just a moment. But first, let me introduce myself and tell my story as well. My name is Dr. Christopher Ose, and I spent almost a decade working as a primary care physician in a hospital. I chose to become a medical doctor because I was passionate about helping people live healthy and strong lives. But it didn't take me long before I was drowning in work stress. Let me give you an example of a typical workday. It's 2 p.m. on a Tuesday, and I'm already seeing my 23rd patient of the day at the primary care clinic, with many other appointments and patients still waiting in the queue to see me. Given this patient's load and with the time constraints per patient, I couldn't do what I would have done normally, listen actively to each patient. So I did what the system forced me to do. I prescribed medications, provided medical advice, and moved on to the next patient. I felt crushed because I became a doctor to help and heal people and not to move them along like they don't matter. Each time I got home late, I felt like I had let down half of my patients who trusted me with their lives. The constant nagging feeling of guilt always left me completely drained and exhausted. While some physicians turn to drinking or drugs to cope, I found myself doing something just as destructive as well. At the end of each soul-crushing day, I feasted on unhealthy comfort foods and binge-watched my favorite Netflix show for hours to cope and to divert my attention from the guilt inside. Looking back, those were signs that I had poor mental fitness. Fortunately for me, during a routine health screening, I discovered that my blood cholesterol levels and blood pressure levels were elevated. How? Why? I thought to myself, but it dawned on me. I had flooded my body with junk foods and unhealthy fats for a long time. My tiny, unhealthy coping mechanism had slowly compounded over time to affect my physical health and almost pushed me to becoming fully hypertensive. This experience taught me this big lesson: the power of being intentional about one's lifestyle, seeking help early, and not waiting to be symptomatic. I could never have looked my patients in the eye and given them health advice when my health was so awful. For me, that was the moment I knew I had to change. Not just because I wanted to be a healthy role model for my patients, but I was terrified that my health and even my own life were at stake if I did nothing. And I didn't want to take medications for the rest of my life. I didn't want that. Fortunately, I found healthy lifestyle medicine practices and I healed myself from these destructive habits and restored my health metrics by rebuilding my lifestyle and mental fitness. But it took me several trials and errors to find what was working. And in just a moment, I will show you proven steps that worked for me and countless other clients as well. Today, I specialize in helping healthcare professionals recover and protect themselves from burnout using my own lived experiences, years of well-being training and certification in well-being coaching. For more than 10 years as a clinician and physician coach, and from private conversations with countless physicians and surgeons, I'm aware that many physicians live off the vending machine diet of coffee, energy drinks, and sugary snacks. They skip social events because they are too mentally drained to be around people, and they sometimes feel emotionally empty. No joy and energy for anything outside of work. Their passion for healthcare is now buried under exhaustion and overwhelm. But deep down, these hardworking men and women still love their work. They remember what it felt like to make a life-saving diagnosis, complete a complicated surgery, and to see someone's relief and joy when you tell them their loved one is going to live to see another day. So, I'm hosting a life-changing event for healthcare professionals to build their mental fitness, reduce the mental strain killing their souls, and restore joy and purpose in their work. It is called the Mental Fitness Edge Summit, a totally unique online event strictly for healthcare professionals who want to cruise through 12-hour shifts without a dip in energy levels and enthusiasm and passion for work, enjoy deep, restful sleep every night and wake up feeling completely refreshed, ditch unhealthy habits they have developed to survive each day, restore their purpose and discover the joy in making a difference to people's life, stay calm under pressure so they don't make a career-ending mistake, achieve a healthy-looking appearance that makes them a role model for their patients. And no, you'll not hear generic and unhelpful tips like do yoga, practice mindfulness, or eat granola. Because you know better than I do that this kind of advice is like trying to extinguish a forest fire with a water pistol. Instead, you will get advanced neuroscience-based techniques proven to erase mental overwhelm from healthcare professionals who understand the extreme mental challenges you face today. The summit features experts at the top of their field, including Stanford-trained experts, professors, and TEDx speakers from 3 continents, and one of Asia's top neuroscientists. They will give you their tools to calm your mind after a stressful day, switch off from work, around friends and family, and most importantly, reignite the passion you had when you graduated from medical school. I call this becoming a mental fitness champion, because just like athletes who win tournaments and championships, your newfound mental fitness will allow you to win every battle against work stress and overwhelm, paving the way for a long, fulfilling medical career in front of you. Sounds good? Guess what? The Mental Fitness Edge Summit is free to attend. All you need to do is register via the button below this video. You'll receive an invite link to join me as I host the sessions with almost 20 speakers. And if you can't attend live, no problem. You will have access to all the expert interviews for 48 hours only after the session goes live. Before I go, I want you to think about something. What's the cost of not building your mental fitness? What will happen to your own health if you continue to get by on just a few hours of sleep every night, or continue numbing your stress with alcohol or unhealthy coping habits like I did previously? Will this affect your relationships with your loved ones? How about your patients? Could you really look at a grieving widow and tell her she would never see her husband again because you made a basic mistake? You owe it to yourself, your family, and your patients to prioritize building your mental fitness. So if you want to get this never-before-seen mental fitness training, click the button below this video to secure your spot while places are still available. I look forward to serving you in this summit. Share this video with your friends and loved ones in your network who will benefit from the insights that will be shared during the summit. Thanks for watching.